Hi Henry, welcome to the Budde clip. I understand that this time you're going to talk about net neutrality.
Yes, Paul. Net neutrality has now become a real hot topic in Europe. The subject has been debated in the US fiercely for several years, and now it really is in the forefront of political and regulatory thinking across the European region. If we take it as a principle, most people recognise net neutrality as one by which everybody should have equal and fair access to the internet without discrimination, without restrictions for platforms or equipment indeed. And that applies to fixed network and broadband ISPs as well as governments, as we all know. The reason why it's taken the forefront in Europe at the moment is the performance, the behaviour of ISPs, particularly the mobile network operators who provide mobile broadband services. Their introduction or attempt to introduce limitations on access to competing systems such as SMS services and mobile VoIP, particularly Skype, is considered discriminatory by most regulators. It is really a reaction to the financial pressures that MNOs have been suffering for the last several quarters. They are approaching this in a variety of ways, but essentially they are either restricting or banning access to mobile VoIP, say, or introducing surcharges for access to YouTube, to Facebook, to SMS sites and Skype. On a regulatory point of view, there's some inconsistency. The Norwegian regulator issued a statement at the beginning of this year which stated quite simply that banning mobile VoIP was not an issue of network bandwidth, but rather simply protecting the the revenue interests of the mobile players. What may be permissible in Sweden would be considered by the Norwegians as a net neutrality issue and wouldn't be allowed within Norway. On an EC level, there is still some inconsistency. The European Commission is sticking by the principle of the revised NRF, the regulatory framework, which doesn't ban traffic shaping necessarily, as long as ISPs provide an acceptable service. This, however, isn't really good enough, and you can see governments coming into the furore, if you will. Very recently, the Dutch government put a spanner in the works of KPN, which had attempted, or was still trying to attempt, to make surcharges essentially provide the service for a premium. The Dutch government changed the telecoms law very recently to guarantee net neutrality and also to prevent those surcharges. What we will see almost inevitably in the next few months is that mobile operators will try to squeeze revenue by these various discriminatory means from their customers. The regulators at the moment are generally sitting on the fence, and it will almost inevitably be up to the governments to introduce legislation so that network net neutrality isn't just a principle, but is legislated for.
Thank you very much, Henry.